Not yet.
Not yet?
Another
90,
61.
35, yeah. Going to be 92 in
Yeah.
6 months, yes. She's
Yeah.
91. And I'm David, Dr. David Coe. I'm the author of Thriving at Nature's Pace. And Mum asked back in December, what's it about, this book of yours? And I said, well, let's read it. So that's what we've been doing. So subscribe to the playlist. We are almost most of the way through. And this is the second last section, and it's all about how investments work, reconciling investments. And we're at the episode where we're going to start talking about where does the investment money come from, and we will do that today. So, where does the investment money come from? And investment, incidentally, is important to climate change because what happens with our money is we use it to make more money, and when we do that, we use resources and we use energy. And so we end up using a lot of the oil and the gas and the coal that drives the climate change. So that's kind of a lot of what it is actually down to our investments. Now, so it's a bit of a circle because people talk about how you need to invest to get to deal with climate change, but the investments themselves actually make climate change worse also. Okay, where does the investment money come from? Pension funds are among the largest source of investment money. Japan's government pension investment fund is the largest in the world. At the time of writing, this manages over $1 trillion and $700 billion. There are a number of other pension funds that are of a similar gargantuan size. Together, according to the Thinking Ahead Institute, the total amount in the world's top 300 pension funds is $23 trillion. And the total size of pension assets is over $55 trillion. Public pensions manage money for generic groups of workers within their country. The money is not individually assigned. There is no preference according to what the individual may choose. Instead, the fund is managed with the aim of providing sufficient returns to support the succession of retiring workers. Private pension funds are different. Individuals contribute to their own named account for their own slice of the collective pension assets. The funds are managed to the specific requirements of the individuals and are achieved by categorizing the retirees or contributors into risk preference groups. The money is then managed according to the characteristics of these groups. If someone considers themselves to be risk-seeking, then their contributions will be weighted towards more risky investments. If instead the contributors consider themselves to be risk-averse, then there will be a greater weighting towards less risky investments. Besides pension funds, money is also invested by individuals through collective investment schemes. These flow into the large investment management companies with household names such as BlackRock, Vanguard, and Fidelity. Most of these fund companies are multinational companies. They provide investment services in multiple countries. They also manage funds that allow people who prefer a more direct hand in investing for themselves. Insurance companies are another major source of investment money. The amount of insurance-related investment assets total $40 trillion. This money comes from the premium people and businesses pay on their policies. Insurance companies operate under strong regulations that govern how they can invest to ensure that they will be able to meet all potential claims. Since many of the insurance policies are long dated, such as life policies, insurance companies naturally look out for long-term opportunities. That said, the long-term return can easily be destroyed by losing money in the short term. Insurance companies are therefore heavily regulated to guard against both short-term and long-term investment losses. Sovereign wealth funds are another group of investors with significant amounts of investment money. There are about 90 sovereign wealth funds in the world. Together, they manage over $10 trillion. Sovereign wealth funds are different from pension funds. They are typically intended for the benefit of the people for all generations in a country. They operate to support the government as a potential source of revenue that they can draw on, and are funded by excess revenues that governments may have had in the past. Sovereign wealth funds are often associated with countries with large oil, gas, and coal deposits. These in the past have given the governments a dependable stream of excess revenue. Today, however, government budgets have expanded and the direction of flow is reversing. Many, like Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, are paying their governments to supplement their budgets. These funds now largely grow through returns on investments. Billionaires also make up a non-trivial amount of investment money. There are about 3,000 billionaires in the world, and collectively they own about $14 trillion. Most of this amount is managed through single-family offices. These are private companies that look after the financial affairs of wealthy individuals. Their money, however, is largely tied up in businesses they founded and cannot be invested in the same way as other funds. They actually own more than 14 now. Prices have gone up. They're more like 20. Charitable foundations and endowments together account for another $500 billion. These have been set up historically by wealthy individuals. The largest foundation is Novo Nordisk, which is an endowment built around a $100 billion pharmaceutical company. Other large endowments include $60 billion IKEA Foundation and the $50 billion Gates Foundation. Endowments and foundations have specifically mandated objectives. The investments are made to ensure the pursuit of these objectives will be sustained. The total amount of investment assets is over $150 trillion. This is $50 trillion greater than the total GDP of the world. Most of this investment money comes from the mass affluent. This is money from people who can afford to save to meet their own future needs. They're mostly the middle classes of the world. Almost everyone in the richer OECD country can be considered as one of the mass affluent. And increasingly, many professionals, middle class and working people who have steady pay jobs and can invest a little into a pension every month fall under this category. From a demographic perspective, this money comes from countries where the birth rate is shrinking and people are relying on their investments for income as they get older. All this money is collectively called real money, and the owners are the ultimate asset owners. Sometimes the legal ultimate asset owner is not the person who contributed the money, but the investment vehicle is the legal body that owns the assets. However, the people who contributed are always the ultimate beneficiaries. They are therefore the ones who should have the most say in how the money should be invested to serve them. This goes back to investing with energy savings. This was the episode we had before. Governments who own oil, gas, and coal have a natural incentive to invest by not extracting to create value for their future. The ultimate beneficiaries of the investment money have personal incentives to ensure their investments deliver. They are also the people who can make energy savings that make not extracting oil and gas and coal possible. The investment industry can bring them together with the $150 trillion of investment money looking for opportunities. This money is expected to grow substantially over the coming years. The consultancy firm PwC forecasts that within the next 3 years, this will grow by another $20 trillion. This growth comes from a combination of asset inflation, genuine value creation, and inflows from more people joining the group of mass affluents who are able to save. Whether it will play out in this way or not will depend on the direct and indirect impacts of climate change. The money is managed by investment managers who use a range of investment strategies. Together, these investment managers and all the associated support make up the investment management industry. Millions of people are employed in this globally. It is dominated by American and European firms, reflecting the fact that most of the real money comes from these two regions. The bigger firms operate with offices globally in any location that has sufficient wealth. The largest firm is BlackRock. This has $11 trillion under its management. The money is distributed across a variety of independent investment funds that operate under the BlackRock label. Several other firms manage similarly large amounts of money. They all have a chorus of investment managers with a variety of skills. This chorus is supported by state-of-the-art technology, best-in-class marketing, and highly effective organizational and operational teams. There you are. That's the investment industry and where the money comes from. There you go. You're a good investor, Mum. You know a lot about that. Mum is a wizard when it comes to it. Much better than my dad. Yes, so better than me. Okay, we'll pause there.
Okay, bye.
Bye.